Welcome back to our course Fundamentals of Operating Systems, based on the textbook Operating System Concepts, 10th edition by Abraham Silberschatz, Greg Gagne, and Peter Galvin, published by Wiley Publishing. In the last few lessons, we have been talking about various CPU scheduling algorithms. We've talked about first come, first serve, shortest job next, shortest remaining time, and priority scheduling. Now we are going to proceed in this discussion and move on to the next type of CPU scheduling algorithm, multi-level queues. So let's get started. Scheduling with both priority and round-robin scheduling, all processes may be placed in a single queue, and the scheduler then selects the process with the highest priority to run. In practice, though, it's often easier to have separate queues for each distinct priority, and priority scheduling simply schedule the process in the highest priority queue. This is illustrated in this image on the left. This approach, known as multi-level queue, also works well when priority scheduling is combined with round robin. If there are multiple processes in the highest priority queue, they are executed in round robin order. In the most generalized form of this approach, a priority is assigned statically to each process, and the process remains in the same queue for the duration of its runtime. A multi-level queue scheduling algorithm can be used to partition processes into several separate queues based on the process type, as shown in the image here on the right. For example, a common division is made between foreground, or interactive processes, and background, or batch processes. These two types of processes have different response time requirements, so they may have different scheduling needs. In addition, foreground processes may have an externally defined priority over background processes. Separate queues might be used for foreground and background processes, and each queue might have its own scheduling algorithm. The foreground queue might be scheduled by a round-robin algorithm, while the background queue may be scheduled by a first-come, first-serve algorithm. In addition, there must be scheduling among the queues, which is commonly implemented as a fixed priority preemptive scheduling. For example, the real-time queue may have absolute priority over the interactive queue. Let's look at an example of a multi-level queue scheduling algorithm with 4 queues: real-time processes, system processes, interactive processes, and batch processes. Each queue has absolute priority over lower priority queues. No process in the batch processes queue could run unless the queues from real-time, systems, and interactive processes were all empty. If an interactive process entered the ready queue while the batch process was running, the batch process would be preempted. Another possibility is to time slice among the queues. Here, each queue gets a portion of CPU time, which can then be scheduled among its various processes. For instance, in this example, the real-time processes could receive 40% of the CPU time, while the system, interactive, and batch processes would receive 60%. This would be as simple as letting the real-time processes have 4 quantum, while the system, interactive, and batch processes would each get 2 quantum apiece. That concludes our discussion of multi-level queues. Now in the next lesson, we're going to go into a variation of multi-level queues called the multi-level feedback queue that is a little bit more complicated, but probably more effective. So take a break here, review your notes, and when you're ready, come on back and we will start looking at multi-level feedback queues.